Hi there. Let's reload some 45 ACP on the Dillon RL1050. We're going to start using Winchester large pistol primers and use the Frankfurt Arsenal Vibra Prime to sort them out and stack them up inside of a transfer tube. And that tube is where we'll take them across over to the Dillon 1050. So you take your tube and you place it up on the primer device and pull the little pin, and bang, there go all the primers. The powder we're using today is clays. And this is something my friend Richard bought back in 1993 at the Columbus, Georgia gun show. I've chosen clays because it is incredibly clean, and we're going to be shooting these a lot with a suppressor. So that's a good choice. We'll be using 3.9 grains of the clays powder because it gives about almost 800 feet per second, and it's a highly recommended load, especially from Ogden. We'll be feeding the bullets in manually, but of course the Dillon 1050 has an automatic case feeder, and the hopper on top will keep us fully supplied with 45 ACP brass. Always topping it up every single time we use one, a new one gets put in. 45 ACP cartridge, like any other, needs to be resized so it will go back into the chamber. Once fired, it's too big, unlike the properly sized cartridge, which falls right into the gauge. The solution is to take these oversized fired cases and put them in the Dillon press, and in one operation we will resize them and, with that same die, knock out the old primer. So now the case has been resized and drops in the gauge. Let's follow a single case all the way around the RL1050. First, we knock out the old primer and we resize the case. The next step in Station 3 is to remove a crimp ring from the primer pocket. It's found on military brass. That makes it easy to prime or add a new primer to the bottom of the case in Station number 4. The primer follower rod drops to let us know that a primer was added. Station number 5 is where the powder is added, and the powder is only added if there's a case down below. And then after that, the amount of powder is checked by a device that determines if there's okay powder, too much powder, or not enough powder. If the powder amount is correct, then it moves the case to Station 7, where the bullet is manually placed and then seated to a depth of 1.275 inches. And finally, it's crimped and dumped into a hopper. And there's our finished round. Now we turn loose the automatic case feed, pull the handle until the machine is full in all 8 stations, and crank out round after round, manually feeding in the bullets, watching the powder hopper dispense the powder, the primer feed, putting the primers in place, the cases going through all the various stages until a perfect round falls out the other end. It was a little bit awkward for me to reach over in front of the camera, so this part doesn't go quite as smooth as it does in, quote, real life, but you get to see what's going on. The bullets are being placed on the cases which have been resized, primed, and filled with powder. The bullet is seated to the proper depth, and then a taper crimp is applied to the mouth of the case, securely holding the bullet into the cartridge. So now we crank and crank and crank until the blue box is full of loaded cartridges, or we run out of brass or powder or bullets or time or energy. And that's it. We just keep on making round after round. By the way, the bullet that we're using is from Rocky Mountain Reloading, one of Jake Wilcox's 230 grain plated bullets. Thanks, Jake.